Royal Exclusive is launching our first live show and you can be part of the audience. Join me at our HQ in the heart of London to put your questions to legendary Sun Royal photographer Arthur Edwards and former BBC Royal correspondent Jenny Bond. Head to the link in the description below for tickets. Do you see many similarities between Prince Harry and Princess Diana from when you knew her?
Do I see any similarities? I think, yes, they're both entertainers. Harry was always the court jester as a child.
Right.
I mean, part of the problem with him and his brother was that William was somewhat jealous of his popularity. But you know, like his mother, she liked to be entertained. She liked to be popular. And I think this is what Harry, he was popular, certainly when he was here in the United Kingdom. And I think he still is now in America. For the negativeness that's come out of these last two articles, you know, people will say that he's actually very fun to be with. He's very good in meetings. He's always mindful and careful of how he speaks to his staff, etc. But which was a classic Diana. She was very generous. She was a gift-giving. I mean, Harry's exactly the same. This is how the Spencers, I think, operated. But I do see similarities. I do see similarities.
Yeah, you mentioned the Spencers there, because obviously Harry spent a lot of time when he was over last. He was with Earl Spencer. Is that side of the family that he might start leaning on now, the Spencers?
Well, it was quite interesting, wasn't it, that he spent time with Earl Spencer, but that would be expected. We saw William, didn't we, when Lady Sarah McCorkindale was at that engagement alongside him at Cranwell a few days later. I think you were there. So I think the Spencers throughout history have always played both sides off against the middle when it comes to the crown.
Well, I mean, I think that, you know, for me, I'll never forget Spencer's eulogy at Diana's funeral. I mean, that was barbed in so many ways. And you know, the Spencers, you know, they're quite a close unit, despite, you know, their history. But, you know, Charles Spencer, who, you know, I have quite a lot of time for, and I think it was always going to be his responsibility that he would look after, you know, William and Harry wherever he could. And I think the move in recently of Harry's meeting with him was symptomatic of what he would want. Yeah, at least he has a bolt hole there. You know, but I think, yeah, there are similarities, definitely.
Lovely. All right. Is it too early to start talking about Christmas? We're only in September at the moment.
Well, Royal Christmas.
Royal Christmas.
It's inevitable, isn't it? Because we always get it. What are they going to be eating? How to do that? Well, under the tree. Every year it comes around. You know,
this week.
You know, is there a boar on the? You know, a boar on the sideboard, as Mervyn would say. All sorts of.
This week, Princess of Wales held her first meeting. We're told,
yeah.
Or her second meeting of the year. It appeared in the court circular. It was to do with her Christmas Carol concert. Did you watch the Christmas Carol concert in previous years? So she's coming. So she's held her first meeting, and we're hoping that we will see her on filming in December, and it will be screened on Christmas Eve. We haven't seen much of her. I mean, is this welcome news, Rob, that she's actually holding these meetings to hold?
I think this is more to do with the way that the PR department are trying to handle the absence of Catherine. You know, and totally justifiable and understandable absence. But obviously they're trying to show the world that, you know, whilst they're not seeing photographs of her, while they're not seeing pictures of her engagements, she's active and she's doing the duties, and that's why they're highlighting these things in the court circuit. I must admit, 35 years covering the royal family, it's the first time I've ever had press officers saying, "Oh, take a quick look at the court circular," as if it's, you know, going to be the lead news item. So, look, I think it's surprising if you put in all the meetings that the King had when he was Prince of Wales. I mean, it'll just take up too much time. And I think if you did that for every single member of the royal family, it would look a bit odd. I think they're doing it for Catherine because it's just to show the world that she's, you know, she's back doing work.
Well, they had to, because when she put that video out that suggested that said that the treatment was over, they told us that she would start holding meetings and would start appearing in the court circular. So this is what she said. She said she will go back to work, but she's not being seen in public yet. She's not actually doing any kind of public things. But I'm looking forward to the Christmas thing. And it's a good event. It's a really good event. You have royals there, you have celebrities there, you have the Princess of Wales. She played piano there with Tom Walker, I think, in the first year. It's an annual bonanza now.
Yeah, she definitely will be involved in doing that, and that's because it's become a part of it's going to be part of the Christmas calendar, and her involvement in the Christmas calendar going forward, you see all the younger members and the cousins, etc., at the event, and it becomes something just in the run-up in the media calendar. So, yeah, it should definitely be involved.
OK, lovely. All right, guys. We've got time for our quick-fire, in your opinion, questions, if you are ready for them. Ken, I'm going to start with you. So, obviously, amid the Harry and Meghan bad boss row, as it's written here, who do you believe would be the best member of the royal family to work for? Because remember, you did work for some, so who would be the best currently?
For me, at the moment now, I'd go for the King. Okay. I tell you why, I'm completely on the opposite side when I was working with Diana. But what I would say is that he understood the difficulties of staff on both sides, you know, because the staff knew of their marital problems. But, you know, that was their problem. But he was very sensitive and very generous. And I always remember at Highgrove, you know, that he would make available, you know, all the food that their chefs cooked, the accommodation, etc. So we were indeed privileged for that. Plus, he has a sense of humour, and I always like that. I must just say, one story that I remember above all working with him was late one night after he'd been to the opera at Covent Garden, he went privately to the National Gallery. And so we'd be taken in via the Sainsbury wing. And, of course, there he is, dressed immaculately in black tie. And there stood at the entrance of this Sainsbury wing is this poor commissioner in his late 70s, you know, shabbily dressed with a pair of boots about 2 sizes too big, a collar that was 3 sizes too big, in complete contrast to this well-dressed entourage. And as he came in, the commissioner came and said, "Good evening, sir." And the prince said, "Oh," he said, "have you been here long?" He said, "7.5 years, sir." He said, "Oh," he said, "it's an awful long time to wait for me." But that sort of, you know, sense of humour would be why. If I had that opportunity, I would love to work with him.
I think you should go and get for Harry and Meghan. I mean, that would be helpful, wouldn't it?
Well, yeah, I'd say that's a second choice.
Yeah. I mean, they give you a bit of a, you know,
Rob, to
bonus.
Exactly.
Who would you least like to work for in the royal family?
What, the working members of the royal family now? Or
yeah.
At least. I don't know, I think they'd all be... In what way, I suppose? Well, I think they're all pretty good. I suppose Prince Andrew's no longer on the thing.
Still royal, though.
Yeah, who would I least like to... No, I think they're all quite decent people to work for. I don't think there'd be anything to worry about, really, there. I think maybe Prince William, I don't know.
Sounds like you're haggling for a job now, Rob. Yeah.
No, I don't. I'm very happy just writing about them and covering the stories. As you are, Matt. I don't, unless you're going to be the new director of public affairs.
Would you imagine that, having us in that post? Have you both seen the Amazon show, A Very Royal Scandal?
I have, yes.
It's very good. So...
I watched both, actually. I thought the 3-parter was,
it's really good.
Was excellent.
This is the Amazon one, the Netflix one earlier this year.
Is it Michael Sheen?
Yeah, it's very
I thought it was excellent, actually, yeah.
So if you were able to do an on-camera interview with any member of the royal family, who would it be and why?
For me,
it
would be the Duke of Kent.
OK.
I tell you why. I had the privilege of working with him for 3.5 years. And I would love to ask him, because for 3 consecutive Christmases, he gave me a travelling clock in a leather case. So I collected 3 clocks in a leather case. I'd love to ask him, why did he give me the same clock every Christmas? I think I know, actually.
He had a job lot.
But he had a job lot of 30 clocks the first year I worked for him. And he had this wonderful phrase. I used to say, I said to him when we returned back at Wren House at Kensington Palace, I said, "What are you going to do with those clocks, sir?" He said, "Don't worry." He said, "They make marvellous Christmas presents."